2014 season is mere hours away. And the BFL Footy Show is back for season 2014.
2013 was North City's year, celebrating their first premiership since readmission to the league. It's time to turn the page though. Can the Northies go back-to-back in season 2014?
Or can Redan return to what they see as their rightful position at the top of the ladder?
Can Darley take the next step this year with a list built for success?
Or will the Swans' strong off-season recruiting pay dividends? The Lakers are rebuilding and could be set for a finals tilt this season.
As to Bacchus Marsh, with Cam Richardson looking to boost the Cobras up the ladder. East Point's playing stocks have taken a hit, but they'll still have a strong say in the finals makeup. As will Sunbury, who will look to their youth to keep them near the top of the BFL tree.
Can the Boroughs rebuild themselves and start moving up the ladder?
Can the Panthers make a tilt at the top six? And can the Bloods give the finals a nudge under Murph and the boys?
We'll find out over the next 6 months, but for now, let's get the BFL Footy Show underway for season 2014. Come on! Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the BFL Footy Show for another season, season 2014. This show will be proudly supported by Ballarat Toyota and also McDonald's Ballarat once again. Welcome, Shawnee.
Thanks, Dodge. Good to be back. Great to be back, ready for another season.
It's come around pretty quick, hasn't it?
Certainly has. It hasn't seemed like the off-season's been very long at all.
And we also welcome the coach of the Ballarat Football Club, Ash Baker. Welcome, Ash.
Thanks, boys. Good to be here.
Very good. Now, we'll get straight into it, Bakes. This season must be very exciting, mate. Coaching and gang. Tell us about some of the big recruits you guys have on board this season.
Yeah, look, we've been fortunate enough to pick up some guys that were with our footy club through probably 2007, 8, 9 and 10. So a few of those guys, Adam Sewell's coming back in a playing assistant coach capacity. Shane Hutchinson is back from travelling around Australia with his family. Tristan May's back on board, and Will McGregor's back with us as well.
And they're all fairly experienced sort of players, aren't they? Players that have played, quite a few BFL games. So it must be encouraging from a coaching point of view to get these experienced players back.
Yeah, certainly. Last year we had a very young list, and it's good to put 4 or 5 experienced footballers back in with our younger players like O'Farrell, me, these type of boys to really learn from them.
In terms of coaching at a football club these days, there's obviously a fair bit of preparation goes in the season, recruiting and then pre-season training. Must be great to finally have the season here.
Yeah, certainly. I think a lot of the boys are looking forward to this Saturday against Mountain South. A lot of the practice match phase, we're through that period now, 4 or 5 weeks, and as you said, pre-season started before Christmas, and it's just really good that the real stuff's coming around.
Very good. Now, Shawnee, the season launch took place last Friday, mate. David Swartz and Liz Ellis, the 2 guest speakers. How did the night go?
Yeah, it was a really good night. Both fantastic speakers. We couldn't have asked for much better. Liz Ellis in particular was great, obviously appearing on behalf of Telstra Countrywide. She did a couple of clinics on the netball courts up at the City Oval behind us before she started, one with the coaches and one with some junior players, and then came in and wasn't scared to have a bit of a crack at Bill Mundy from Telstra, who was interviewing her throughout the night, and just some really funny stuff. And then David Schwartz, a really solid message about how he beat the gambling addiction, how it almost cost him everything that he has, but he's got through it and he's come out the other end.
Yeah, some
good MC work as well, I must say.
Very good. Some interviews throughout the night with some senior coaches.
Yeah, we did. We had Eamon Gill from Redan, we had Robbie Waters from North City, and Cam Richardson from Bacchus Marsh. All very excited about the season. Of course, Redan playing North City in round 1, and of course Bacchus Marsh with a couple of blockbusters to start with on Good Friday and Anzac Day. Very much looking forward to the season to go.
Very good. Now, Shawnee, the player of the week this year, mate. It's a Sheba. Now, what's happening?
Yes, it's actually player of the month. We'd love to give one of these away every week, but they're a $699 a throw touchscreen tablets, so unfortunately we couldn't quite stretch a budget for 18 of them, but thanks to SC Technology Group, one of our new sponsors that's on board for season 2014, going to give one of these away every month, Bugs, to the player who judged the SC Technology Group Player of the Month. $699 worth of Toshiba touchscreen tablet. I'm tipping some of your boys like get their hands on this.
There'd be a few that would like that for sure.
Certainly would indeed, as SC Technology Group have done a fantastic job. They're on board for the Player of the Month for the footy and the netball. So we'll have 5 of these to give out for each footy and netball.
So I'm guessing the first one, or the first player that wins this award will be announced after round 4?
Announced at the end of April, so it will be after, probably after round 3 actually.
No worries. Very good. Now, Shaun and Bakes, we'll move on to the games for this weekend. The first game we'll look at is your game, Bakes. You guys played Melton South at Alfredton. Obviously going to the game fairly confident. How's your pre-season form been?
Yeah, been good. Been good. The boys have trained fairly solid for a long period now. Yeah, looking at obviously making improvements from last year, and as I said earlier, guys are just waiting for this first round, get the first round.
Yeah, exactly. Melton South, Shawnee, are they any sort of chance here?
Oh, look, they're always a chance. Obviously, when you've got Matty Sutton in the forward line, it's always going to be a team that's going to be competitive and that's going to kick goals. They're making some good noises, Melton South. They've had a really good pre-season from all reports as well. They've got some experienced boys in. But look, I'm favouring Ballarat in this, not just obviously because Bakes is sitting next to me, but the experience that has been brought back into the Ballarat team this year has really given a lot of hype around the Swans pre-season. I suppose they're one of those pre-season fancies, if you will. So very interesting game to see how both teams come about. But I think especially at home, Swans won't drop this one at home, will you, Bakes?
Hoping not to, but as you said, Melton South are going to be good opposition this year.
No Aaron Nunn on the list this year, Bakes.
That's probably a good thing. You don't need any list blockers.
Obviously a huge out.
Yes, massive, big shoes to fill there.
How's the big Hooch going? Big Martin.
Yeah, Hooch is recovering from some shoulder op, so
Okay.
he's just due to start taking some contact around round one. So he'll just need to get some fitness under his belt before he comes back into it.
Very good. The next game we'll look at is between Lake Wendouree and East Point. Intriguing match this. I think Lake Wendouree a huge chance here. East Point have had some big outs during the off season. In particular, I suppose Jason Delaney, Hayden Bowlers. So look, Lake Wendouree picked up some handy players as well. So it's good to see the Wendouree reserve in really good condition for this match.
Yeah, it is. And I suppose. Sorry, you missed a pretty big out there as well in Dan Jordan.
Dan Jordan as well. So I think with those few key players going out of the East Point side, and with Lake Wendouree recruited reasonably well in the off season, Tom Carey is going to be a big recruit for Lake Wendouree this season. I don't think he'll play too much footy at North Ballarat. I hope he does, but I reckon he might play a fair bit of footy at Lake Wendouree, so he'll be a handy centre back or centre forward player for them all season. So I reckon Lake Wendouree are a big show here. Yeah,
look, there's a trio of players like Tommy Carey, obviously Tom Ash Simpson, and also Lucas Anderson. Chuka will come down and play a fair bit, hopefully at Lakers this year, hopefully from our point of view, not from theirs, because they want to play at North. But look, East Point, we'll probably see Hayden Walters more often than not, I reckon. Obviously, he's another one that's in that same VFL vote as those Lakers boys we mentioned, just he's at Footscray, not North Ballarat. So I reckon we'll see a bit of H early on, which is really important with those losses that you mentioned, Dan Jordan, Jason Delaney in particular in the middle of the ground. If they don't lose Hayden Walters, he can slot into that midfield position. Obviously with Paul Kodorenko feeding him from the ruck, it'll make a big difference. But I'd say a bit of an upset. I like the Lakers in this one. I like what they've done pre-season, Bakes. They're making all the right noises. They're going about building the list the right way, I reckon. And I reckon they'll surprise a few sides this year.
Yeah, for sure. They had they've got a good bunch of young guys that they worked with last year and have worked with in the last couple of years that are developing under Webby's game plan, so they'll be more advanced again.
Bakes, in terms of Dan Jordan not playing for East Point this year, as an opposition coach, you must be thrilled with that. But how do you think East Point will sort of measure up in terms of their forward line structure? Blokes like Brad Whittaker, I suppose they'll play a bit more deeper. How do you sort of see it panning out?
Yeah, look, obviously DJ is pretty formidable forward who drew a fair bit of the football going forward. They're going to be a lot more diverse this year. They certainly, some of their games last year, they weren't overly reliant on DJ. They were still winning without him kicking big scores, so they've still got some very handy forwards.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, Melton and Sebastopol. Now, a big game for both these sides because both sides struggled a fair bit last year, and a chance for one of these sides to record a win early on this season. You think Melton, with the way they've recruited, Brad Murphy obviously coached them this year, I reckon they'll win obviously away this week at Sebastopol.
Look, I'm favouring Melton as well. Obviously, this game being played at Mackie Park this weekend. So
it's McPherson Park.
It is at Mackie
Park,
mate.
Sorry, boys.
That's okay. You're right, Brad Murphy's going to make a huge difference to Melton. Also, Brett Pitts has come over from the Essendon Footy Leagues, a player that has really played some good footy throughout his time. You're right, really big game for both teams. Obviously, they only won the one game between them last year, and for one of them to get a flyer in round one base as a team that hasn't won many games is a real confidence booster. I'd love to see Sebas get up and about. Obviously, Phil Carman's already mentioned that he's not going to play players on reputation, which I reckon's a good thing. He's going to run the blokes out that have been performing, and sometimes that can really create a good culture within the club.
Yeah, certainly it's a good way to start developing that culture, having some faith in your younger guys and giving them a go early.
Yeah.
So a win for them would be huge, but by all reports, Melton are travelling fairly well with their recruits.
Yeah, look, and Sebas have they've lost Sam Jenkins to another club, and obviously Malcolm Niblett's moved on as well. So two fairly experienced players have moved on, so they've just got to try and, I suppose, get some more games into those younger kids and hopefully develop them as the season goes on. But it's certainly a winnable game for them, and Phil Carman, first game as coach, wish Phil all the best as well.
Having said that, Niblett didn't play, I think, at all last year, so it's not really a huge... It is a great loss because we know how good a player Malcolm Niblett is, but not having been there last year, they're not going to feel that loss as much. Obviously, they retained Michael Powell, who was one of the players of the year last year, and quite rightly was in the team of the year, and if he can get going, he's a very, very hard man to stop.
For sure. Next game we'll look at is between Redan and North City. This game is played at the City Oval. Another big game. Last year's premiers against a side that's been up and about for quite some time now in Redan. So how do you see this one going, Shawnee?
Interesting game. Really interesting round one game. Obviously, North City losing a couple. Mickey Williams won't be there. Obviously, Tyler George has gone down and he'll play in the Geelong League this year. And also Jake Hicks is overseas. Bringing someone like Marcus Darmody into the side tends to cancel those out, though. So they'll be strong again, North City. Don't worry about that. Obviously, Derek Micallef back in the side from the grand final as well. But Redan will be strong. Obviously, they lose a couple as well. They lose a Matty Hyden, they lose a Chops Lamb. There's some pretty big holes to fill. But you bring Nathan Blomley back in, and that can kind of offset Chops a little bit. And Nathan Wright coming in really gives them a solid forward point as well. He's kicked a lot of goals for Carisbrook in the last couple of years in the Maryborough League.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I mean,
he's undersized.
Yeah, it's a step up from the Maryborough League to the BFL. So even though he's kicked numerous goals in the Maryborough League, it'll be interesting to see how he goes at this BFL level.
Yeah, you're right. He's probably undersized for a key forward, but Redan have got a lot of blokes that are around that height, your Chesters, your Grant Bells, guys like that are that same kind of height. So if they can rotate them around and really they can use them all as hit-up targets, then it could be kind of a bit of a different Redan that we'll see this year, Bakes.
Bakes, sorry to interrupt. Bakes, do you, as an opposition coach, I know you obviously focus on your own side throughout pre-season, but do you sort of have the odd glance at how different other sides are going as well? How North City's pre-season's been, how their practice match form's been. Do you look at that as well, or?
Yeah, we certainly like to get as much information and gather as much information
about
recruits,
all sorts of stuff.
Opposition sides that we can. That's why I'll be very, very interested to see how this one plays out round one, because they're both going to be, you'd imagine, strong sides this year. Yeah,
no, for sure. The last game we'll look at, boys, is between Sunbury and Darley. This game is played at Clark Oval. Interestingly, probably Darley go in this game as favourites. Sunbury have lost a lot of players in the off-season. But I think, just speaking to Rick Hall in the off-season, he's very optimistic about the way they'll go. They're going to play lots of young kids this year, try and develop those young kids around a few of the, I suppose, senior players that are still there. So, and obviously Darley have recruited pretty well in the off-season too, so I reckon Darley might get the job done here.
Yeah, look, I reckon Darley will start favourites as well. Obviously, Jared Edwards comes in as coach this year and coaches a side that's heavy on experience, whereas their opposition this week won't be so much. We all know about how many players Sunbury lost over the off-season, and they're really using this as a rebuilding and development year. Keep an eye on one of the blokes who are going to trot out this weekend. His name's Dylan Tarkson. His dad's obviously Jason Tarkson, who's played in the AFL before. This kid's an absolute jet. Don't worry about that. I know that Wardian only took him up to Cairns last year as part of the AFL Goldfields Under-17 tour. His pre-game routine when he was playing Sunbury Juniors in the RDFL was go out, have 3 bounces and launch a barrel from 70 and kick a goal every time. So they've got some talent to work with, Sunbury, but it may take, and like all young sides do, Bakes, it may take them 4 or 5 weeks to really gel.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to cover the loss of their players during the off-season, but having said that, they're a strong and proud club who've got a really good junior base, and they'll be looking for those juniors to come up.
Be a bit unusual to see no Cheap, no Clark, no Lobb, no Karras running around for Sunbury. So very good, boys. That covers off the big weekend. Obviously, back at Smash have the bye this weekend. Bakes, much appreciated. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And best of luck for this weekend, also the season ahead.
School
holidays, mate. Don't work too hard.
No, I'll try not to.
Very good, Shawnee. Thanks again, mate.
No worries, mate. Thanks for having me.
Another big year ahead.
It is. I'm very much looking forward to it. Obviously, having 12 months and knowing the lay of the land this time, I'm very much looking forward to the year, and I suppose not being as green as I was this time last year.
And we'll obviously see you out and about the footy thread, I suppose, each weekend.
Yeah, I'll be around about, mate. If you've got any good hamburgers that you cook up on a weekend, let me know. And I'm not just saying that because of my rapidly expanding waistline either. There's going to be a reward coming up if you cook the best hamburger on a Saturday coming up. So more about that in the next coming weeks. I'll give you 6 words. Mega Meats AFL Goldfields Hamburger Hunt.
Very good. Look forward to hearing about it, Shawnee.
That's going to be huge.
Thanks so much for joining us on the BFL Footy Show, the first show for the season 2014. Hopefully you can join us every week throughout the year. As you know, the show is proudly supported by McDonald's Ballarat and also Ballarat Toyota. Bye for now.